It's not easy to be a Dane. The sea is big and the country small. But they've learned how to balance and come home with dry feet. In their long history, the Danes have often fought the storm, and they still do. They fight until the winds subside and it is quiet. When you go far enough into the country, Denmark is an idyll. For this, the Danes have only themselves to blame, because they do everything they can to make things cozy and historical. Some travel with horsepower. Others relive the lives of Denmark's heroes. And of course, you meet the eternal Viking who brightens up daily life. The chimney sweep wears a top hat all week long and serenely rides a bicycle, so as not to disturb the stork. All of the town's small children drink milk from Carolyn, the cow, so they'll grow up to be big and strong. One day the child's step is slower, but still a day is not complete without rejoicing over lovely churches, the landscape, and peaceful animals. If you've seen enough of the good earth and corn, you can always go out on the water, feed seagulls, and sail to another island. Sooner or later, you get a castle in your eye, and the seagulls change to swans. It's really a fairy tale with a busy tourist, a relaxed mermaid, and a swarm of other tourists and souvenirs. When Americans themselves say it, calling the Danish capital wonderful Copenhagen, who knows? Maybe we're right. With a little imagination, we can find Hans Christian Andersen's characters in the streets. And the poet himself, at least in spirit, in the King's Gardens. Yes, here it's peaceful. But obviously, you mustn't let yourself be pushed around too much by the Tourist Association. Muscles and machines must be used to widen old streets and make Denmark bigger. Even if they are only 4.5 million, the Danes compete with the biggest in sweat and industry, ability and pride in workmanship. The secret to success is first-class people. With no minerals in the ground, human beings are their only natural resource. The Danes threw inferiority complexes away a long time ago and import steel for heavy industry. With it, they make quality exports that impress the world. The industries make both hard and soft goods. The Danes boast just as much about their diesel motors' horsepower as about their beer's liquid kick. We ought to use the finest superlatives in paying homage to the wonderful lady mechanics. But suffice to say, they do their jobs well. But in admiring mass production, we don't forget the soloist, the zealous hand worker who isn't finished with a chair until it's both something to see and something to sit on. All of Denmark's health-giving wealth, minus their small share, is exported to the world's hungry mouths. Carefully and with hygienic efficiency, lovely milk is made into delicious butter and cheese, benefiting millions of stomachs and also Denmark's bankbook. Yes, it's a serious job making good, healthful food, and only the strictest judges are allowed to control its quality. The food industry builds on close cooperation between farmer, scientist, and modern techniques. The result? Ready to eat. The food products are really second to none. Every year, big and little shipyards launch many ships. After all, it's necessary to sail the seas, and it would be a pity to let all that fresh fish stay in the water. The Danish farmer is really a rugged individualist, but he joins other farmers in cooperative movements and organizations in order to increase production and sales. He doesn't give up anything, but benefits by joining others in the big job. In this way, Danish agriculture holds its own in world competition without a penny of government aid. Work is over, and thus shall leisure time corrupt man, if we are to believe what the prophets say. Maybe this would bore some people, but there are many, many here who are enjoying themselves and having a really good time. Soccer is the national sport, and one has to be in fantastic physical condition if one wants to cope with the hardships as a spectator. It has been the fashion to speak about modern man's loneliness. But here you have both international soccer games and the benefits of vibrant community life. Danish culture is not to be sneezed at. Everyone can read and write. Everyone can be a painter and go to museums to see if anyone else is as good as they are. Danish architecture is really something special, and the architect is treated with honor and awe. The gastronomic art is also cultivated with a science and a passion. You saturate the eye with beauty without sacrificing appetite. The noble art of living demands a lot of exercise and plenty of playgrounds. The game isn't over, even if you're getting a bit older. A welfare state doesn't just provide old people with food and a roof, but helps them to enjoy and use their golden years. The Danes are still innocent enough to believe that a considerate democracy doesn't leave anyone in the lurch and doesn't deny anyone a fair start. They're reaching their goal. But in the meantime, it isn't so bad to be traveling with a young, feeling people on the right road, all of whom one day will be voters or congressmen in the world's oldest kingdom. I guess it is easy to be a Dane because they've learned how to balance, and they live in a country they really like.